Lacerated Chaotic Mind. Quite the title. How do you arrive there?
So, as far as for the book itself, that is the first piece. So that's how I got it for the book itself. But the piece was written during a very crazy, kind of broken time. And everything I write has a piece of me in it. I'm probably going to say that a couple times, but that's just the way it is. So that piece kind of reflected that. And then there's a line in a stripped version of a Halsey song that says, "Art is not what I create is chaos." It's like, I really like that word. So I sat on the word chaos for a couple days, and then this is kind of what spewed out of me, honestly, in my speech class, where I should have been paying attention and I was not. And it was Lacerated Chaotic Brain at first. But that didn't really fit that poetic, like, wandering the mind kind of idea we see throughout pieces. And so I kind of changed it to mind, and then I stepped back from the piece, read the piece, loved it. And also it just felt like a very good debut to the world, because it talks about, like, what you see is a mess. It's all scattered, blah, blah, blah. I'll guide you through it. And then the very last lines, which I love the very last lines, not to like toot my own horn, but it says, "Welcome to the ramblings of the lacerated chaotic mind." And I was like, okay, this needs to be my debut piece.
Okay. What is this collection about at its heart?
So, on a surface level, it's pieces from middle school with the Peppy Blonde to summer before junior year of college with Just and Without You. Primarily, honestly, from my sophomore year of college and my junior year of high school. Maybe into my senior year as well. But on a deeper level, like at its heart, it is just things that I felt throughout life that I put on a paper to get out that hopefully somebody else can relate to now. From depression to faking feelings for people to listing happy things and going, maybe I'm a pessimist, but it's not that hard to find happy things in life. To love, to I don't deserve love, losing people, and just the way of the world in general.
Alright. Do you have a favorite poem of yours?
Of mine, that answer probably changes hour on the hour, if I'm being honest. I Won't Jinx It holds a very, very tight place in my heart because it is the first piece I wrote about my boyfriend. But is not in the book, but I really do enjoy where it ended up after I revisited it. Probably will be on the YouTube very soon if it's not already at the time of this interview being published from a reading, because I do really enjoy that piece. But overall, with the way the world is right now, with the things that are going on in my life, probably either Just or Without You, which are both in the book.
Okay. Looking back on your life, what would you say got you to the point of self-publication?
Oh, Lord. I've written things my whole life. Always swore I was going to be a famous writer. Actually, on our Instagram, the first reel kind of talks about that, but it's always been. And then, I don't know what happened, probably middle school-ish. I was like, oh, you want to see my stuff? No way, like, how dare you touch my book? This is my book, you can't read what I wrote. And then I submitted a bunch of things, kind of threw them, not expecting any of them to stick, to this journal that my school put out. One got published in January, which led to the website, which led to the let's put out this book I said I was going to do.
Alright, what's self-publishing been like?
A lot of things that you don't realize you have to do. Formatting, cover art, advertising, days full of photo shoots, editing those photos and going like, we don't have the shot. We gotta do it all again. Same with video shoots, like that Lacerated Chaotic Mind promo video, the first one that came out with the voiceover. Between finding the chords, getting the chords right with the piano, and then editing the video, and then shooting the video pieces, that 1 minute video probably took about 24 hours to make. Kitchen interviews, saying, hey, you wanna read this piece for me? Followed by all night long formatting and emailing my editor, who's a family friend of ours in Connecticut, Brandon Mullis. Just a lot of that nonstop going and pushing and grinding.
Okay. You've been writing your whole life. What does the writing process look like for you?
A lot of crap. Let me go look at the journal before I forget moments. A lot of voice memos because I do get a lot of ideas when I'm driving, which I don't know why I just do. And then later when I've got time, sitting down and being like, okay, was this piece from when I was driving supposed to go with this sticky note idea I had earlier? Or does it need to be two separate pieces on a similar idea? And so just a lot of that, and then I was kind of kidding with my sister the other day, but I was like, I always said, one of the things I said for the longest time I was going to be was a detective or a crime scene analysis person. And that's basically what it is that sitting there, and does this go with this, and is this and this? Are these linked, or is it just coincidence and feeling that I had? And that's what it is a lot of putting it together. Then it goes into the journal, then as it goes into the computer, it gets edited. And then it'll get edited again, and revisited again. And yeah.
On that note, how do you face writer's block?
A lot of going outside for a little bit, just going on a walk, going on a run. I did cross country and track for a very long time, so I'll go just run for a while. Going on a drive, because like I said, for some reason, it's almost guaranteed I'll have some kind of idea while I'm driving, if I'm driving for longer than like 10 minutes. As funny as it is, I'll schedule myself an extra DoorDash shift, because I can't tell you the last time I DoorDashed and did not have some kind of good idea. Pulling from prompts, like I have a bag of random prompts. Just stuff like that, just kind of revisiting those sticky notes, seeing if maybe anything does spark now that maybe didn't before. Stuff like that.
Alright, so you mentioned Halsey earlier. Who else inspires you?
I've always kind of liked the darker story, so like that Tim Burton, like not necessarily slasher dark, but like that make you think, kind of make your skin crawl, like that eerily similar, like in Coraline, the idea of like here's her normal life, here's this other life that's almost the same, but there's something barely wrong. So kind of anything that genre-esque. Emily Dickinson. I really like older poets, even though I was never really too into Shakespeare, even though I do like The Tempest. I have a piece called He's No Romeo that kind of talks about how that's really not the love story we think it is. A bunch of performers. I love 21 Pilots. I like their focusing on the dichotomy of things. Car radio's the first one that comes to mind, but that idea of like this silence, somebody stole my car radio, I really need to replace it because it's the loudest that's ever been in this car. Things like that. I really like things like that.
Alright, what's your favorite poem?
I don't know how much of it is I wish I thought of the idea of comparing hope to a bird. How much of it is the time it came into my life. How much of it is just the poeticness of the poem itself. But Emily Dickinson's Hope is the Thing with Feathers. I kind of get teased a little bit because that does sound like a very basic answer, but if you ask me one of my favorite like classic novels, that answer is going to be Jane Eyre, which Jane Eyre I do fully believe was the time it came into my life. But Jane Eyre and Alice in Wonderland, which Alice in Wonderland is just weird and awesome and amazing.
Same kind of question, you kind of already answered it. What's a piece you wish you'd wrote?
Car radio for sure. I'm sure there's quite a few Halsey pieces like that. I would say that too. I really like Halsey's Trouble, where she's talking about a physically abusive relationship, but if you listen to it, it sounds very physically abusive instead of just verbally, and I really like that concept. Wish I had thought of that concept. Nightmare Before Christmas is so fun, and it hits so many different things. I love that. There's a whole playlist. I love If the World Was Ending, Julia Michaels, because it is like this, we were right for each other, but it was the wrong time, but if the world was ending, you'd be there no matter what, right? Like, and it's so innocent, and I love that. Flowers, Lawrence and Spencer Smith. I love that, like, oh my gosh, maybe flowers aren't just a big apology. Maybe things are better. So, I watched an interview once where somebody was asked this question and they said happy birthday, because that's the only right answer, because as an artist, you want to make something people relate to,
Yeah.
and that's one where you just put in a name and everybody relates to it. I love that concept. That's been like, I'd never thought about it that way, but I love that concept.
Okay, back on to you. What's your favorite part of writing?
Fiction work, which I do have some of that, which will come out eventually. It just needs a lot of work because the piece I want to put out first was written in middle school. I like creating a world. That's so much fun to me. Even if it's like the normal human world, just creating a different time in that world. So like that's why I've always said I probably won't write any historical fictions because I have to stick to the history. If I write something in this world, it's probably futuristic because then I can create this whole history along the way and I can create these characters and create this arch. When it comes to poetry, I really like just getting it all out on the page and then I like playing with words and seeing what metaphor I can maybe replace that with, and that's fun to me.
Okay. What other projects do you have going on right now?
I did just find out I'm getting published in South Carolina Bards for this year, which is a pretty big deal. It is an anthology where any poet from across the state, any level, so like pro, amateur, whatever, doesn't matter how old you are, etc., can submit up to 3 pieces. I do have a piece, Hybridization, which is also in the book, coming out in that, so that's pretty exciting. My website as always, and then that self-published Constant Grind, I'm already formatting for my next book. Like I've got the concept written, like the concept intro page, the actual intro page, because I kind of have some explaining I'm going to do with that one. And then I've got one poem already that I know is going to be in there, that I've already formatted that. I'm already working on that. And so that's that self-published always. More info on that should come December, January-esque time frame. But with school, I don't know how that's going to shift that idea at all.
Okay, kind of on that note, what's your favorite part of book work?
I really like, first of all, I have fun with the promo photo shoots and videos. Like, it's a lot of work, but it's fun. I also really like editing, seeing what a piece becomes, seeing how maybe this piece I wrote in middle school kind of goes with this piece I wrote in college, and I didn't even realize it, and seeing them all become one kind of consistent idea, even if maybe the subplots are a little different.
On the point of Lacerated Chaotic Mind, do you have a release date yet?
There's 2 I'm going back and forth between. I'm finishing the last step that will tell me which one, but it'll either be September 26th or September 19th, leaning towards the 19th, hopefully.
Alright, that concludes it. Alyssa Gabrielle's Lacerated Chaotic Mind, coming September 19th.